In this screencast, I'm going to show some of BBEdit's features and how you can use Hook with BBEdit. Here's the markdown source of a web page on using Hook with BBEdit. Now you can see, of course, you got your title bar here. Here's the full path of the document that I'm currently editing. That's quite handy. Here at the bottom, you can see that this is a markdown document and it's giving you statistics and useful information about the document. You want to increase your zoom. Let's bring that up to 125%. You can use a keyboard shortcut to see the table of contents or the functions in a document and navigate between them. So that's quite handy. You've got version control integration here. There is a very powerful regular expression find and replace tool. Patrick Woolsey and Rich Siegel, co-founders of Barebones Software, are both original signatories of the manifesto for ubiquitous linking. So it's not surprising that BBEdit works super well with Hook, and it goes over and beyond the minimal requirements of the manifesto. For example, in BBEdit's file menu, you'll see that there's a copy path menu item containing copy path, copy full path, copy URL, and copy name. And there's a very handy function that you can control click in a URL and immediately open the URL. So when you bring up Hook in BBEdit, click on the title menu, and then you have access to all the functions that you would expect. For instance, we can copy a markdown link to the current document and paste it here. And if you wanted to hook the current document to a web page such as this one, you just bring up Hook on that web page and you do hook to copy link with Command V will be faster. From that point forward, the two documents are linked. So if you bring up Hook in the web page, you'll see a link to the file. And if you bring up Hook in the context of the file in BBEdit, you'll see a link back to the web page. That comes in handy for many cases, such as if you want to cross-reference a web page while writing in BBEdit, well then just hook them up together so you can go from one to the other very quickly. And if you want to take notes about a web page, again, take your notes in BBEdit. It's a full-powered text editor. Another use case is if you're writing a blog post or a long form response, instead of being constrained by the web editor, which is usually not very good, you write with the full power of BBEdit. You've got your local file linked to that web page so you can navigate between them. When you're done, you copy your response obviously into the web form or web page. And then going forward, you have a local copy that's Hook linked. So if you want to find the response in the future, you can use Hook's search tool to find both the local copy and the original website where you posted your response. And if the original website goes offline in the future or mangles the URL for whatever reason, well, you've got your local copy. One feature I particularly love about BBEdit is its projects feature. So here I've already actually hooked this document to an entire project. So I can get to that through Hook. Here's a project file in BBEdit that has a number of different files that I've put in the project. And that's actually quite handy for navigating various documents. You can add files to the project pane by just dragging and dropping them from the Finder into here, so that's pretty handy. So in this case, I've previously hooked this file to the project, so I can bring up Hook and immediately navigate to the project file, and then I can reveal it in the Finder by using this command, or I typically use this keyboard shortcut. And here you can see that a project file in BBEdit is a file. You can actually locate it wherever you want. It doesn't have to be in the same folder as the files that it contains. Hook's powerful Hook to New feature works particularly well with BBEdit. This is thousands of times more powerful than Apple's new Quick Note feature, because Apple's new Quick Note feature only works with web pages and you can only use their specific note-taking tool. In contrast, when you invoke Hook to New, it creates a new document in the editor of your choice, which in my case is BBEdit, and it will create the new document. It will name it based on the source document that you were in, whatever that was. It's going to file it. It will bidirectionally link the new BBEdit document to the source document, and it'll even tag it for you. See this in action by taking some notes on a PDF that I wrote. So this is a PDF file that's opened in Skim. Bring up Hook, click on the title menu, and then you can do Hook to New BBEdit. it's already there as my default. So I could have just used Command N. And here's a text file. It's opened in BBEdit, and I can start taking notes about what I'm reading. If I find anything interesting, which there is, of course, lots of that's of interest here, I can copy and paste it in the BBEdit file or do whatever I want. Notice that this text file here is linked to the PDF, so you double click here and you go back to the source. It's bidirectional link, that's what a hook is. So a major advantage of having this bidirectional linking going on here is that when you're reading the PDF and you want to go back to your notes, you don't have to use Spotlight. You don't have to remember what the file was called as a search term to put into Spotlight. You don't have to type into Spotlight. You don't have to navigate to the particular folder, which is God knows where. And by the way, whenever you hook items together or you even copy a link in Hook automatically bookmarks that particular item, whether it's an email or a web page or a file or whatever. And then what that means is that you can easily find the information you're looking for later. And it turns out that these actions, copy link or being touched by a hook, are basically excellent cues of future relevance of information. So Hook rapidly accumulates bookmarks to your most relevant resources that you might want to find later. So it's another reason why you no longer need to rely on Spotlight once you start using Hook. Returning to Hook to New, I'd like to emphasize that like the copy link function in Hook, it rapidly becomes muscle memory. Once you get in the habit of using it, you basically know exactly when you need to use it, and it's extremely handy. So this is very important, and what it does is it unlocks note-taking finally so that you can take notes about anything in your favorite editor without the hassle. Now, if I want to see where I am, I'm going to bring up Hook, reveal file and folder, and it went into this folder here, which is my notes folder. You're probably wondering, well, where does this come from? Let's bring up Hook, go down to the preferences, which is, there's a keyboard shortcut for that. And then we'll go to the notes tab and you'll see here's where the new note files are created, this particular folder. And notice that I have configured Hook to create a text file as default when I do Command N. And since my text files on my Mac open in BBEdit, BBEdit becomes a default note-taking app in Hook. I could have used one of any number of apps here, and these notes are actually based on a template. So let's open the templates folder in Finder. What you'll see is that Hook has a templates folder. The templates directory is in the Hook folder that is created by Hook. So we've got all this stuff here. So I'm going to go back to that. There are built-in templates and there are custom templates. You can customize all the templates. So I've got all kinds of templates that I could have used. If you bring up Hook here, go back to the preferences, you'll see you can choose the particular template file that you want to use by default. So this one's called text.txt. So I'm going to find it. Oh, look at this. It's right here. There's nothing in this file. So I've opened this file. Let's bring it down here. I've opened this file and I could have had whatever I wanted as default text in the template. In fact, if I were to show you a more detailed template, here's one. This is my analytical notes. So if you really want to dig deep into something you're reading, well, here's a template for you. You can configure templates to your heart's content. In another screencast, I'm going to show you how to actually hook to a new folder. And just to give you an idea of what that's about here, I'm going to come back here and I'm going to say, well, if I wanted to hook this to an entire folder containing all kinds of files that are pre-configured to be useful, then let's scroll down here. I happen to have a composition folder. I won't open it here. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to use this keyboard shortcut that you're probably familiar with, Command Return, which opens the particular template that I have selected. So this template folder, you can see, has a number of elements. So in one go, I can create a BBEdit project file and all of these different files that are very useful in this case for composition. There's some for contacts, etc. This is the custom templates folder, but like I said, you have built-in templates that you can start with, and if you want to customize these templates, you can just basically duplicate them and move them into the custom templates directory. In fact, you can edit them in place, but we have this distinction to make it clear for you. So we've listed here all of the things that Hook to New folder does. So your BBEdit files can contain text files,
And with Hook, we extend that concept, enabling your BBEdit project files and the files within them to link to just about anything. So we've given you a taste of what you can do with Hook and BBEdit. There's other things you can do, of course, so download Hook, download BBEdit, and start using them together.